In the beginning of the drama, we see our male lead, Jinwook. He is very rich along with being handsome and good-looking, and this was the reason why all the girls of Korea are crazy about him. Here he comes to the club to meet one of his friends. On the other hand, we see our female lead of the drama, whose name is Yumi. She is a very simple girl and is a dietitian by profession. She has also come to the club with her friends to enjoy. Her friends go to dance. While dreaming seeing them dancing, Yumi says, "Let me also dance." She opens her hair and dances in such a way that everyone starts watching her, but all this is her imagination because in reality she dances in such a way that everyone runs away from her. After dancing for a long time, when she goes to the washroom, she sees Jinwook romancing with a girl. At first seeing both of them romancing, she gets very surprised. She is enjoying a lot, but then she has to go to the washroom, so she quickly pushes Jinwook and runs away from there, on which Jinwook gets very angry at her. After that, we see the scene of the next morning where Jinwook's father is scolding him a lot because his last night's photos have gone viral all over Korea. His grandfather gets upset with all this and says, "You should pack your bags today itself and come to my hotel for training." But at first Jinwook refuses a lot, but then he has to agree. On the other hand, we see Yumi. She is taking her cooking classes, but she is not able to cook well at all, due to which she has a lot of scolding from her teacher. After finishing her cooking classes, when she reaches home, she gets an invitation letter there. That invitation letter is not of anyone else, but of her mom. Seeing this, she gets irritated a lot. Then the scene changes, and we see Jinwook with his assistant where he feels very sad. Just then his assistant points towards the bus and says, "It is time for you to go." But he says, "Is it necessary for me to go in the bus? I can go in my own car too." But the assistant refuses and says, "I have received these orders from your father." After that, somehow he makes him sit in the bus. But in gestures, he is threatening his assistant to kill him. After that, we see that Yumi is also entering the same bus. As soon as she entered, she starts irritating Jinwook by her stuff. Then, people start harassing her. Jinwook also gets irritated and tells Yumi, "The seat next to me is empty, so you sit here." On which Yumi thanks him. Then she starts sitting on her seat, but by mistake she falls on her hero. On which she gets scared a lot and starts saying sorry to Jinwook. But he tells her it is fine, but now how much time will you sit here? Then she quickly wakes up and goes to her seat and sits. After that, finally the bus reaches its station and everyone gets down from the bus, but Jinwook and Yumi are still sleeping in the bus. When Jinwook wakes up, he gets down from the bus without waking Yumi up. Here Jinwook is waiting for his assistant. After that, Yumi also comes out from the bus with her stuff. She goes away from there by hitting Jinwook through her stuff. Jinwook gets very angry with her and says to himself, finally the stupid girl goes away from him. In the next scene, we see Jinwook with his assistant, where his assistant asks him to wear the waiter's uniform, but Jinwook refuses to wear it and throws it away. But in the next scene, we see Jinwook in the waiter's uniform. Maybe he wears it out of fear of his dad. Here he is even wearing the uniform, but looking at his antics, no one can say that he is a waiter because he does nothing except roaming around and giving orders to other waiters. After seeing his antics, the manager comes to him and says to him very angrily, "If you keep doing this, then I will punish you and I will complain to your father." But our hero gets scared quickly after hearing his father's name. On the other hand, we see Yumi, who reaches this hotel to attend her mother's wedding. Seeing Yumi in a black dress, her mother tells her, "You have come here for my wedding, not in my funeral." And then she asks her maid to change her dress. After that, we see Yumi in a very beautiful dress in which she is looking very pretty. Then the wedding ceremony starts, but our Yumi's main focus is on food. She asks the waiter to bring food again, on which the waiter also gets very irritated and says, "How much will she eat?" On the other side, we see Jinwook, who is listening to the assistant talking to the waiter. He gives Jinwook's car keys to a waiter and tells him to keep it safe and not to give it to anyone. Seeing this, Jinwook gets very happy. Just then the manager comes there, and she starts scolding Jinwook a lot and says, "You are not doing any work." But Jinwook quickly takes the wedding cake from the waiter's hand and says, "Look, I am working." After that, we see Yumi. The two ladies sitting next to her talking about her mom, and they say, "I have heard that she is an erotic actress, and she has also worked in many adult movies." Listening to the talk about her mom, she remembers her high school life where all the students used to bully her for this reason. Remembering all this, she gets very upset and gets up from there and leaves. On the other hand, we see Jinwook, who is carrying the wedding cake. Just then, Yumi comes running in front of him, and she is just about to fall. Just then, our hero quickly catches her. Then, both of them keep looking at each other for a long time, but then a flying cake hits Yumi's face, due to which her dress becomes dirty. She quickly gets up and runs away from there. After that, the manager scolds Jinwook a lot for the wedding cake getting spoiled, and also asks him to apologize to Yumi. But at first, Jinwook refuses, but when the manager threatens him by his father's name, then he has to agree. After that, when Jinwook is going to apologize to Yumi, just then he sees the same waiter who has his car keys. He asks the waiter to give him his car keys, but the waiter refuses. But he threatens him to fire him, so he quickly gives the keys to Jinwook. After taking his car keys, Jinwook says to himself that this is the last work, and then he reaches Yumi's room to say sorry to her. Then he enters the room and says, "I have come to say sorry to you." But as soon as he turns and sees Yumi's face, he remembers that she is the same girl who had troubled him a lot in the bus. He comes close to her and says, "It seems that you did not recognize me." Seeing him very close, she gets hiccups. Jinwook says, "I had come here to say sorry to you, but I feel that you should say sorry to me." On this matter, both of them keep fighting for a long time. Then he tells her, "I do not have that much free time to keep arguing with you," and he leaves from there. After he leaves from there, Yumi gets very angry. After coming out of the room, Jinwook remembers that the car keys had left in a room, and to get it back, he goes back to Yumi's room. There we see Yumi, who is going to the washroom to take a bath after drinking beer, when she slips and falls down very badly. At the same time, Jinwook, who is standing outside her room, is continuously ringing the bell, but he sees that she is not opening the door. So he goes inside the room through the master key, and as he takes his keys and goes to the washroom, he sees that Yumi is lying there. Seeing this, Jinwook doesn't understand anything, and he quickly picks up Yumi and starts taking her to the hospital, but she is completely fine. However, due to the embarrassment, she doesn't open her eyes. But sometimes Jinwook comes to know that she is completely fine. Seeing this, he is very angry and says, "Today, for the first time, because of you, I have got such embarrassment." Because of all this, Yumi gets sad and starts crying. Seeing Yumi crying, Jinwook controls himself and asks her, "Are you fine?" Hearing this, Yumi is very surprised. Then Jinwook makes her wear his coat and says, "You do not need to depress yourself because of others." He tells her to enjoy her life and goes from there. In the next scene, we see that Jinwook is going with a flower bouquet, and on the other side, we see Yumi. She is enjoying her life on the advice given by Jinwook. Jinwook reaches outside a small restaurant and leaves the bouquet in front of the restaurant and goes away from there. Actually, it is his mother's restaurant, who is no longer with Jinwook. After that, his mother comes there, and after seeing the flower bouquet, she understands that Jinwook had come here. After this, we see Yumi, who is waiting for the bus. Then Jinwook comes there and offers Yumi a lift in his car. Seeing this, Yumi refuses and says, "Did you steal this car from someone, or it's of your customer?" Hearing this, Jinwook starts telling his reality to her, but then he becomes silent and again offers her a lift. But Yumi says, "I do not have any interest in living with you." After that, Jinwook says, "It is your wish, but I do not think that any bus will come here." On hearing this, Yumi quickly sits in his car. After this, when both of them are on the way, the fuel of the car gets over and Jinwook asks for some money from her. On the other hand, we see that Jinwook's father is scolding the assistant very much and asks her to find Jinwook. Then we see both of them having fun at the beach. Here, Yumi finds a coin, seeing which she says that today is a very good day for me, but Jinwook calls her stupid. After that, they have a lot of fun there, and then it becomes night. Yumi says to the Jinwook that today no one has ever asked me whether I am fine or not, but you are the first person who has asked me this. Then Jinwook says that you are not the first girl who is crying because of me, because there are already many girls who have cried because of me. But you're the first girl who I find cute while crying. On hearing this, she gets hiccups, and they both come very close to each other. After that, they spend the whole night together kissing each other. Next morning, when Yumi finds herself with Jinwook, she gets angry at herself and then picks up all her clothes and runs away from there. After that, 3 years pass, and we see the life of both Jinwook and Yumi, where Yumi's life is going the same as usual, but our hero Jinwook has changed a lot after spending a night with Yumi, and now he is the CEO of a very big company, and he is very serious about his work and time. After that, we see Jinwook with his father. His father says that you should get married now, and I want to become a grandfather soon. But Jinwook refuses and says that there is a lot of pressure of work right now, so I cannot take responsibilities like marriage. And saying this, he goes to his meeting where he gives a lot of work to all the workers, and all the workers get very upset with him. After this, we see Yumi, who is telling her friends that from tomorrow, I am starting a new job in a company on which her friends are very happy for her. After that, when Yumi is crossing the road, she sees the same car of Jinwook, seeing which she starts remembering the night she had spent with Jinwook. Next, we see Yumi with her best friend Jong. He tells Yumi that you have slept here again today. Let's go to your room and sleep. She slaps him and says that I am fine here. After that, we see the scene of the next morning where Yumi reaches her new job, and here we come to know that the company she is in is none other than Jinwook's. But she does not know about it and goes there. After that, Jinwook also enters the company, but both of them are not able to see each other. After that, when Jinwook is in the lift, he sees Yumi in the lift in front of him. Seeing her there, he is completely shocked and asks his assistant, "Did you just see someone in a black dress?" But the assistant says, "It seems that you are not well." The scene shifts and we see Yumi, who is introducing herself to all her colleagues. But all the colleagues start seeing her with straight eyes about her. But then one of the employees says, "Come, let me take you on a tour of the whole office." On the other hand, we see Jinwook, who is continuously thinking about Yumi. When he was in a meeting, he loses consciousness and falls down. After that, we see him in the hospital, where all the employees tell him to take care of himself and leave from there. Then his assistant tells him, "I will resign from my post tomorrow itself because of me you have become in this condition." But when he starts to leave, Jinwook asks him, "What do you want?" Then the assistant says, "I just want you to eat 3 times a day," and Jinwook also agrees to this. After that, the assistant goes to Yumi and asks her to cook 3 times food for Jinwook. First, she is very surprised, but then she has to agree. Then the scene shifts, and we see Jinwook where he gets a call from his high school friend Hairi. Actually, Hairi is after him to marry her, and seeing his phone call, Jinwook tells his assistant, "If I meet her today, then I will have to go to the hospital again." And after saying this, both of them quickly run away from there. After this, we see Yumi, who is busy cooking food for Jinwook. But when the assistant takes the food prepared by her to Jinwook, he takes a lot of mistakes in it and says, "This kind of food is not even for dogs," and goes from there after telling her to throw away the food. After that, Jinwook troubles Yumi again and again for food. After this, we see the scene of the next morning where the assistant again comes to Jinwook with the food prepared by Yumi. But as soon as the assistant leaves from there, Jinwook asks one of his employees to throw out the food, and she goes to throw it away. But Yumi sees all this, and she feels very sad. In the next scene, we again see Jinwook with her father, where his father is forcing him for marriage, but Jinwook points towards his assistant and says, "I already have a wife." After this, we see Yumi, who is asking an employee of Jinwook and says, "You should give this food to your boss." Then Jinwook comes there and is very surprised to see Yumi. Then he comes to his office and looks at Yumi's resume and says, "You have insulted me a lot." And here we are shown a scene of 3 years ago where after Yumi's leave, many ladies are laughing at him. After this, we see the next scene where the assistant gives Jinwook a diet plan for Yumi and says, "If you have any other question apart from this, you can directly ask me." After that, Jinwook goes to trouble her every time and rejects her every cooked food. After this, when she is looking at the profile pic of her boss, she remembers Jinwook's 3-year-old memory and says to herself, "This can never happen." Now Yumi is very angry at her boss who troubles her a lot, and she takes out her anger on food. On the other hand, we see that the assistant who brings the food made by Yumi to Jinwook, but Jinwook again refuses to eat it. Then he says that if you don't like this, then we can hire a new chef. But Jinwook refuses and says, "There is no need for this, and don't worry, I am taking my supplements." There we see Yumi, where Jinwook messages her and says, "I am allergic to the dish you just sent me." But she is very surprised and says, Since when? He says, from today and now on. Seeing this, she gets very angry at him. After this, Yumi is also talking to her friends and talks a lot of bad things about Jinwook. But by mistake, all those messages go to Jinwook instead of her friend. When Yumi gets to know about it, she quickly runs towards the office of Jinwook, and as soon as she enters his office, the assistant comes in front of her and refuses to let her in. She requests him and says, "Please let me in, as it is very important for me to meet him." Then Jinwook tells his assistant to let her in. Then she quickly goes inside and apologizes to Jinwook for her mistake. But as soon as Jinwook turns his face, she gets completely shocked after seeing him and runs away from there without saying anything. Then Jinwook says to himself, "Now it will be fun." After this, when she is going to her house, even then she is thinking about Jinwook and says to herself, "He was a waiter, how can he be the CEO of such a big company?" Then Jinwook comes there, and seeing him, she quickly starts running away from there. But then Jinwook holds her hand and tells her, "You have not changed at all in 3 years." But Yumi is not able to understand what to say to him. Then she pretends as if she does not know him at all. Then Jinwook comes close to her and says to her, "Look at me carefully, do you really not know me?" Here Yumi starts getting hiccups again. Jinwook, holding her hand, asks her to sit in his car, but she frees her hand and says, "I am not that kind of girl who will sit in anyone's car," and she quickly runs away from there. Jinwook is very surprised by this and says to himself, "I have seen how long will you pretend like this?" After coming home, Yumi repeatedly thinks about Jinwook and says to herself, "What will I do now?" At the same time, we see Jinwook, who is also repeatedly thinking about Yumi. The next morning, the assistant tells Yumi that from now on she'll be making food for Jinwook 3 times a day and taking it to his office. Yumi gets irritated and asks if it's necessary for her to go there, but the assistant says, "Of course, if you don't want to get fired, you'll have to do this work from today." We see Yumi taking food for Jinwook and motivating herself, saying, "You can do this." However, when she sees Jinwook in front of her, she gets very nervous. Jinwook tries to make Yumi remember the 3-year-old things and asks her if she knows about the place. When she sees the pictures of the restaurant in front of her, she remembers the scene of her washroom, but then she acts as if she doesn't know anything. He says that from now on they'll see each other like this. After that, when Yumi is going to the office, Jinwook comes in front of her in the same car he had used before. After that, when Yumi again takes food for Jinwook, he tries to remind her of old memories by showing her the beer bottle. Seeing this, she's unable to do anything and quickly runs away from there. In the next scene, we see Jinwook with his assistant. His assistant says, "These days you're feeling very fresh. Is all this because of the dietitian?" But Jinwook interrupts and says there's nothing like that. After that, Hai recalls Jinwook and suggests they have dinner together, but Jinwook refuses and hangs up the phone. Meanwhile, Yumi is free from her work and is about to go home when Jinwook messages her asking her to take an extra meal for him. She gets very angry, but despite not wanting to, she has to do it. On the other side, we see Jinwook looking at Yumi's profile and saying, "She's stronger than my expectations. Today I've taken my revenge from her." Just then, Yumi brings food to his office. While giving her money, he says, "The money I took from you 3 years ago for filling up my car with fuel, I'm returning it to you with interest today." But she says, "I don't know what you're talking about," and refuses to take the money. Jinwook forcibly gives her the money and says, "Now return my things." She asks, "What is it?" He replies, "My coat that you took and ran away with that day." She claims, "I threw that coat away 3 years ago." Jinwook comes close to her and says, "I don't trust you." After that, we see Yumi asking one of her friends if they'll change jobs with her because she doesn't want to work there anymore. The assistant overhears this. In the next scene, we're shown Yumi near Jinwook, where he's telling her a lot of things. She gets irritated and says she remembers everything, getting angry because he makes her do a lot of work for him. As she's about to leave, Jinwook stops her and asks, "Before leaving, you have to tell me why you left me 3 years ago." But Yumi lies and says, "Because that was a one-night stand for me," and with that she leaves. Jinwook gets very upset after hearing this from her. In the next scene, we see Yumi getting upset thinking about the last night and saying to herself that Jinwook will definitely fire her today. However, when she reaches the office, she sees that Jinwook doesn't do anything like that. Instead, he praises the food she made a lot, which surprises her. After that, we see Jinwook with his assistant where he tells him not to wear a particular suit again because he has tropophobia. The assistant responds saying, "I think you don't have any sense of fashion at all." Later, when Jinwook is in the washroom, he overhears a worker talking on the phone about bringing someone else in place of Yumi. After this, while Jinwook is working in his office, his friend Hai Ri comes to visit him. But Jinwook gets very angry at Hai Ri and asks her to leave because he doesn't like her at all. They're both together when Yumi comes with food, and seeing them together, she's very surprised. She quickly leaves after putting the food down. After that, when Yumi comes home, she sees her mother has come to stay with her daughter. Yumi gets very angry with her mother because she had left her husband's house to see her daughter. The next morning, we see Yumi cooking for Jinwook. Just then, Hai Ri brings a lot of things for Yumi and says that from today, Yumi will make the same food for Jinwook that she tells her to. Before serving, Yumi must send her a photo of the food because she and Jinwook are going to get married soon. Hearing this, Yumi is very surprised. Just then, Jinwook arrives and asks Hai Ri, who told her that she's going to be his wife. Then, pulling Yumi closer to him, he says that he'll eat the food she cooks for him and no one else can order her. After that, Jinwook holds Yumi's hand and takes her out with him, telling her to get ready quickly because they're going out now. After this, we see both of them at a restaurant. Here, Jinwook tells Yumi that he likes the food of this restaurant very much, so she should taste it and from next time cook the same food for him. While tasting the food, she says that the food here is really very good. After this, she asks Jinwook if Hai Ri is his girlfriend. Then Jinwook tells Yumi that if a boy is with a girl, it doesn't mean that he's dating her. After that, he says to her, "You forget that night because it was just a one-night stand." On hearing this, Yumi starts getting hiccups. After this, when they're going out of the restaurant, she starts banging on the door just as he quickly catches Yumi. As soon as she comes close to Jinwook, she starts getting hiccups. Then the scene shifts. We see Jinwook in his house where he's thinking about the same man who's talking about bringing another dietitian in place of Yumi. Thinking this, Jinwook tells himself that he'll never let this happen. After saying this, he opens the jewelry box kept in front of him, and here again the scene of 3 years is shown where Jinwook finds some of Yumi's belongings in his car, and he kept it with him. At present, seeing it, he says to himself that he himself doesn't know why he's kept it till date. After that, we see the scene of the next morning where Jinwook goes to the cafeteria with all his employees to have lunch, and as soon as he tastes the food, he becomes very happy because it's made exactly as Jinwook had told Yumi. In the next scene, we see Yumi with her friend Jong. Both of them are talking to each other when a girl comes there and starts asking Jong for his number. On which Jong quickly goes to Yumi and says that she's my girlfriend and you're ruining our date. Then the girl quickly leaves from there. After this, Yumi gets very angry at him, and here we come to know that Jong likes her very much, but Yumi considers him only as her friend. In the next scene, we see Jinwook, who is returning from a meeting and calls Yumi, but her brother attends the call. He's very surprised to hear her brother's voice. Then Yumi comes there and quickly takes the phone from her brother. Jinwook says to her that he hasn't eaten food today, so she should come to his house and cook food for him. On which his assistant is surprised because just now ago, he had lunch in the cafeteria. After some time, we see Yumi, who has reached the house with her brother and is cooking food. There's a sound of something falling from his hands. Hearing this, she quickly goes to her brother, and after reaching there, she sees that her brother has dropped a jewelry box of Jinwook. As she picks up the box, she sees that it's slightly broken from the side. But she quickly goes to fix it. She thinks of opening it, but then doesn't do so because she thinks that Jinwook has taken the jewelry box for Hai Ri. So she leaves the box there and leaves from there with her brother. After that, when Jinwook comes home, he sees that Yumi isn't there. Actually, today he wanted to have lunch with Yumi, but she already left from there. When he goes to his room, he finds a bag in which there's the same coat that Yumi had run away with 3 years ago. Seeing the coat, Jinwook becomes very happy. The next day, when Yumi goes to take food for Jinwook, he says to her that he's not a small child, that she decorates his food so much, and also says that from today onwards, all this shouldn't be there in his food. On the other hand, we see Hai Ri, who has brought food cooked by her own hands for Jinwook's father, and she's trying to make him happy so that he can somehow get her married to Jinwook. Here, Jinwook's father likes Hai Ri very much. After that, he sees the lying jewelry box in front of him and comes to know that someone has touched it. But Jinwook gets very upset because he thinks that Yumi must have opened it and seen what's in it. The scene shifts and we see Jinwook in a meeting, but he's getting very upset thinking about the box again and again. Seeing his actions, the rest of the members are also looking at him surprisingly. After that, thinking the whole day, Jinwook decides to meet Yumi. Just then, he finds Yumi's brother's toy in his room, and after seeing it, he's confirmed that she had come to this room. Then Jinwook calls Yumi and asks her to meet him now. But she says that she won't come at this time. But Jinwook says, okay, if you don't come, then I'll come to you. After that, he reaches Yumi and after showing her the toy, asks if it's hers. But she just acts as if she doesn't know and doesn't even tell him about her brother. Then he asks her again if she went to his room yesterday. Then she gives a box to Jinwook because she thinks that Jinwook has kept a diamond necklace in the box. Then he asks Yumi if she opened that box and saw what's in it. Then Yumi says that she just looked at it from outside and got an idea about the thing in it. She says he should buy a bigger box because the bigger it is, the better it will be. Hearing this, Jinwook is very surprised. Actually, there's a misunderstanding between the two. She's thinking that there was a diamond necklace in the box, but Jinwook is thinking something else that belongs to Yumi. While they're talking, Yumi's friend arrives there, and seeing him, Jinwook asks her who he is. On which Jong says that he's her boyfriend and takes Yumi with him. Jinwook gets very jealous after seeing them together. After that, we're shown a flashback scene where Jinwook is praising Yumi's food a lot and says that she's cooked such good food, and he also clicks a lot of photos of her food. After that, we see Jinwook, who's going back to his home and wonders what that girl thinks of herself. But he himself asks him to control himself. On the other hand, Jong tells Yumi that if next time your boss will do such a thing, then tell him that I'm your boyfriend. Next, we see Jinwook. Even now, he's getting upset thinking about Yumi's boyfriend. He says to himself that he already knew that by now she must have got some boyfriend. After that, he waits for her to come to the office the next morning, and as soon as she comes, he starts acting as if he's busy with work and gives her Yumi's brother's toy. He says, please take it from here. But Yumi gives him the same jewelry box and says that you also have to take this. On hearing this, Jinwook holds Yumi's hand and says that she should take it away from his sight and never talk about it in front of him. After this, when Yumi takes her toy and starts to leave from there, Jinwook stops her and asks her who that boy with her was last night, if he's her boyfriend, and if they're both living together. But Yumi refuses to answer anything and says that why should she tell him about her personal life? Jinwook says that okay, if she doesn't want to tell, then don't tell. But he'll tell her one thing. He finds that boy very lazy to look at. Hearing this, Yumi praises Jong a lot and also goes from there bad-mouthing Jinwook. After she leaves, Jinwook says to himself, was she talking about me? Then he gets very angry thinking about this and looking at the food that she's cooked says that how many times he's told her not to cook so much food for him, but her food is becoming even more cute day by day. Then again, he starts taking photos of Yumi's food. In the next morning, when Jinwook is going with his assistant, he gives him a book and says that this book is his favorite book. But as soon as Jinwook sees the book, he comes to know that it's not someone else's but Yumi's boyfriend Jong's. Here he comes to know that he's a writer. His assistant says to him, will you return my book to me? But Jinwook throws the book there itself and goes away because he's getting very jealous. Then in the evening, when she brings food for Jinwook, Jinwook ignores her and says to leave. As soon as Yumi leaves, he happily goes up to eat the dish made by her. After that, he messages her and says that why was the food so less today as his stomach is still not full, so she should cook more food. But she gets very surprised and again starts cooking food for him. Then when she brings the food to Jinwook, he again ignores her and says to leave. As soon as she leaves, he takes out the food digesting bottle from his pocket and drinks it in anger. The scene shifts and we see Yumi, who's alone and talking with her friend, saying that today her boss has made her work so hard, due to which she's become very tired. So she asks him if today he'll come to pick her up. Here Jinwook is listening to all her talks quietly and goes to Yumi and asks her to cook food. She's very surprised and says that he's just eaten food. But she has to cook food for Jinwook again, even though she doesn't want to. After that, when Yumi brings food for him, he keeps it on the book of Jong and eats it, telling Yumi that till he eats, she'll also sit here. But at first she refuses a lot, but then she has to agree to him. After this, both of them start talking to each other. Then Jinwook comes close to Yumi and says that he has to check something. As soon as he comes close to Yumi, she starts getting hiccups. Jinwook smiles and remembers that whenever he's close to Yumi, she starts getting hiccups like this. He says that her hiccups are only because of him, because she gets hiccups even when she's around him or close to him. He asks her if she feels nervous because of him. While pushing him away from herself, she says that she has hiccups, or is it only because she has a physical problem because when she's with him, she doesn't feel nervous, but feels uncomfortable. After that, she leaves from there. Jinwook is very surprised to hear this. The scene shifts and we see Jong, who's playing with Yumi's brother. Then a lady comes to him and asks him who this kid is. To save himself from the lady, he says that this is his son. Then that girl quickly leaves from there. On the other hand, we see that Jinwook is getting very angry remembering her words, and he also throws the box in the dustbin to get it out of his sight. After that, we see Yumi, who falls asleep on Jong's shoulder while talking to him. The next morning, Jinwook goes to his office, and then he sees Yumi, but ignoring her he goes and stands near her. But as soon as he comes to know that Yumi is talking to Jong, he tries to listen to their conversation, and then while going inside the lift, he tells his assistant that he should deliver his message to Yumi. After that, the assistant goes to Yumi and asks her to cook food for 10 people. But Yumi is surprised and says that why only her anyone else can do this work. The assistant says that it's not his but Mr. Jin's order who wants her to do this. The scene shifts and we see that Hairi has come to Jinwook because today she was going to take Jinwook's interview. Then a lady asks them about their relationship. But Hairi is about to say something when Jinwook says that they both are siblings and she looks like his younger sister. On the other hand, we see that Yumi is preparing food for everyone. After that, when she reaches there with food for everyone, then we see that the food has already been ordered from the restaurant for everyone. Because of this, everyone ignores the food of Yumi and eats the food ordered from the hotel. Seeing all this, Yumi is very sad, and because of all this, Jinwook also scolds Hairi a lot. And then after this, he goes to Yumi and tries to make her understand, but she doesn't listen to him at all and says that she knows that he is doing all this because of that jewelry box. Then she leaves from there after saying sorry to him. After that, when Yumi is sitting with her colleagues, she gets a call from Jinwook's assistant. The assistant asks Yumi to come to the hospital quickly because Jinwook is very ill. Yumi gets very upset after listening to this. After that, Yumi reaches the hospital quickly to meet Jinwook on the assistant's call. When she reaches the hospital, she comes to know from the assistant that Jinwook's health got worse because he ate the whole food made by Yumi. But she gets very angry at Jinwook. After that, Jinwook says to Yumi, "Don't you want to meet your boyfriend today?" On which she says, "He is not my boyfriend, but my best friend, and we both don't live together." Hearing this, Jinwook gets very happy, and then he also tells Yumi that Hairi is not his girlfriend, and that jewelry box was also not for her because his heroine is someone else. Seeing them talking, the assistant also gets very happy. After this, when Yumi is putting a blanket on Jinwook, he holds her hand, and after that, Yumi sits near Jinwook the whole night. After that, the next morning, when Yumi goes to the office, her director asks her if she has found a boyfriend because she is very happy today. But Yumi says that there is nothing like that and smilingly leaves from there. In the next scene, we see Jinwook where his assistant tells him that Yumi was with him the whole night. But Jinwook behaves as if it does not matter to him. After that, when Jinwook is going to the office, he keeps thinking about Yumi again, and he feels that last night Yumi kissed him, but he was not completely sure about this. When Yumi has brought food for Jinwook, he asks her to sit near him and says that now she will have to take his responsibility. On which Yumi gets surprised and says, "What kind of responsibility?" Jinwook comes to her and says that the responsibility of spoiling his health because his health deteriorated because he ate food prepared by her, and due to this his stomach has also been affected a lot. So she will have to take the responsibility of him as his personal dietitian. But she says, "How can I take your responsibility?" Jinwook tells her that she will have to eat food with him from time to time, and he is doing this only because he does not trust the food prepared by her at all. She gets very upset by hearing all this, but Jinwook is smiling after seeing her so upset. After that, Jinwook takes Yumi with him to eat food, and on the way he repeatedly troubles her intentionally. After that, Yumi says that he will have to eat food in the same restaurant where she will tell him, and after this, she brings him to a restaurant. Seeing the restaurant, Jinwook says that he doesn't like such unhygienic places at all. Secondly, he has to sit and eat here, which he can't do because he has very long legs. But Yumi ignores him and goes inside the restaurant. Seeing her, Jinwook also follows her. When both of them are eating by mistake, food falls on Jinwook's shirt. But when Yumi goes to clean the stain, he says that he thinks she should not touch his chest without his permission. He was also saying that wasn't she ashamed to have physical contact? And then he starts smiling. After this, when they're going back home, Jinwook tells Yumi that his mom and dad got divorced in childhood, because of which he has always been alone, and he likes his mom's cooking very much. The scene shifts and we see Jinwook in his house, where Jinwook is happy remembering the kiss and tells himself that whether it is reality or a dream, but the dream was very good, and out of happiness he goes to dance there. After this, we see Jong, who comes to meet his friend Jinwook for some work. Then Hairi comes there and gives him some stuff, thinking him the shop worker, and leaves from there. After seeing this, he looks at her very surprised and says that she is a very strange girl. On the other hand, Jinwook calls Yumi and asks her to come to a restaurant tomorrow. And then Jinwook reaches the restaurant and makes such an entry that everyone keeps looking at him. But as he enters the restaurant, the waiter stops him and gives him a number and asks him to wait with the other people. But Jinwook tries to enter inside by paying some money, but he refuses. Seeing all this, Jinwook goes to fight with the man. Then Yumi comes there and controls him and takes him to the side and gets very angry at him. But Jinwook says that he can do anything to be with her because he doesn't like to eat alone. Here we see the flashback scene of Jinwook's childhood, from which we come to know that he has been eating alone since childhood till now. After this, Jinwook looks at Yumi and says that today she is looking very well. Has she come on a date? Then she says that she always gets ready like this. And here it is shown in flashback that Yumi has got ready very well to meet Jinwook. Then their turn comes and Jinwook holds her hand and takes her into the restaurant. Both of them enjoy eating together. Even after this, both of them are going back. Then Jinwook sees Yumi's shoelaces open and makes her sit on the side and then goes to tie her shoelaces. Seeing this, Yumi says that she can do this herself too. Jinwook says, "Should I open it?" She says that no, she did not mean it. After this, when Jinwook asks Yumi to drink with him, she says that she has to feed her dog, and she leaves from there. In the next scene, we see Yumi with Jong, where Jong sees Yumi smiling and says, "What happened? Why are you laughing like crazy?" After that, Jong comes to know that now Yumi has to eat every time with Jinwook, on which he gets very angry at her, but she says that she likes eating with Jinwook. Jong does not like it at all after hearing this. In the next scene, Yumi brings food for Jinwook. Then he says thank you to her as usual and asks her to go back. But Yumi does not leave from there and says that she will stay there till he is eating because he told her yesterday that he doesn't like to eat alone, so she will stay there. Hearing this, Jinwook gets very happy from inside. While eating, he tells Yumi that now she will stop cooking because he knows that it is very difficult for her to do everything. Then he invites her to dinner with him. But Yumi refuses and says that she is very busy tonight because she has to take her dog for a walk. Hearing this, Jinwook gets very upset and tells Yumi that doesn't she think that she loves her dog too much? But after thinking a lot, she agrees to him. After that, when both of them start going for dinner, Yumi asks Jinwook that where are they going for dinner today? But Jinwook says that they will eat at his house. At first, she says yes to him casually, but she also gets completely shocked. After that, when she reaches his house, Yumi refuses to go inside and says that she doesn't go to anyone's house late at night. But Jinwook says, "Why are you blushing so much? Remove the dirty things from your mind and come inside the house." After that, when Jinwook is cooking food for Yumi, she says, "How many other girls have you brought here before me?" But Jinwook says that she is the first girl whom he has brought to his house. When Jinwook asks her to turn off the light, she doesn't find the switch. On which Jinwook comes close to her, but she feels that he's going to kiss her, so she closes her eyes, but Jinwook switches off the light and goes from there. After this, when both of them are about to sit to eat food, just then Jinwook sees that his father is standing outside. They get very upset on seeing his father. Jinwook asks her to hide quickly. Then he opens the door and quickly goes to the kitchen to hide Yumi's bag from his father. On the other side, we see Yumi, who's looking for a place to hide, but then she finds a jewelry box. She ignores it at first, but then she opens it. But when she sees her own thing in it, she is very surprised. His father also suspects seeing two plates on the table. Both of them are having food, then he quickly puts out the candles. Then his father hears the sound of something falling from his room. Hearing the sound, his father runs into his room. But he tries to stop his father in a loud voice and says, "Dad, you eat comfortably, I will check." But his father also suspects him, and he goes to his room. Then looking towards the washroom, he says, "What is it?" Jinwook looks towards the washroom with fear, but there is no girl there but a cat. His father says, "I thought that you have hidden some girl in your house." After that, his father leaves from there. After he leaves, he goes to find Yumi, and after searching a lot, he finds her in the cupboard. As he opens it, she falls on him. The next morning, Jinwook's father calls his assistant and says that he thinks Jinwook is dating a girl, so keep an eye on him. On the other hand, Jinwook asks Yumi to go with him to a business meeting and says, "I have a very important meeting today, and I want you to cook food for them too." Then the scene shifts and we see Hairi. She goes to the cafeteria to call Jong to her show, but as she sees Jong, she gets completely shocked because both of them had already seen each other before. Actually, some days before, she gave him some stuff thinking him a shop worker. Now she asks him to come to her show, but he refuses. On the other side, we see Jinwook, who is waiting for Yumi outside her house. When Yumi comes in the same dress which she had worn 3 years ago, seeing her, Jinwook could not take his eyes off her, and he goes to her and praises her and says that she is looking very good in this dress. Then he takes her to the same hotel where they met 3 years ago. She is very surprised to see the hotel and refuses to go inside, but Jinwook takes her inside forcefully by holding her hand. After this, we see both of them with his clients. Here the client likes the food made by her very much. After a lot of trouble, when Yumi comes to her room and is resting, then someone sends her a gift. As she opens the gift, we see that there is a very beautiful dress in it which is not given by anyone else but our hero Jinwook. After that, we see Jinwook, who is waiting for her to come. Then Jinwook sees her wearing the dress given by him. Jinwook is very happy to see Yumi in the dress given by him because she is looking very beautiful in that dress. When she is coming to Jinwook, suddenly a waiter throws wine on her unknowingly. As she is about to fall, just then Jinwook catches her saying, "Today you are looking very beautiful in this dress." Yumi also starts getting hiccups when he comes so close to her. Then Jinwook says, "Today you are looking very beautiful," and also says, "I'm not talking about you, but about the dress because this dress is very expensive." After that, both of them start fighting on this matter. Then the same manager comes there who had troubled Jinwook a lot 3 years ago. She says sorry to Yumi because her waiter spilled wine on her dress, but Jinwook says it's okay. Then she says, "Why are you saying it's okay?" "Because I am not saying sorry to you, but to Yumi, and you should also say sorry to Yumi along with us, because you are the president of this hotel." On hearing this, Yumi also teases Jinwook and asks him to apologize to her. After which the manager says sorry to her and gives her a bottle of wine and leaves from there. After that, they enjoy a lot together. The scene shifts and we see Hairi, who is drinking with Jong, and the two of them are in the same situation because both of their lovers have gone on a business trip together. The next morning, Jinwook messages Yumi and asks her to meet him at a poolside. Yumi comes to meet Jinwook and asks him why he has called her here. Jinwook says that he often gets paralyzed while swimming, so she should take good care of him. And then when Jinwook has to take off his clothes for swimming, Yumi closes her eyes. Jinwook says, "Stop your acting. You have not seen me without clothes for the first time." After swimming, Jinwook asks her to take him out, on which Yumi extends her hand, but he takes her along with him and falls into the water. She gets very angry at him and runs away from there. Then she notices that Jinwook has not yet come out of the water. Seeing this, she quickly jumps into the water and quickly takes out Jinwook. After that, some workers also come there. But then we come to know that Jinwook is just acting to tease Yumi. He asks these workers to leave. After that, she tries to wake him up, and in that time, she also accepts that she also likes him and says, "I have seen my thing in your box." Hearing this, Jinwook quickly gets up and says to Yumi, "Did you really see what was in it?" Then Yumi gets angry at him again. After that, both of them sit on the side of the pool and keep talking. Both of them kiss each other. The next morning, when he asks Yumi to have dinner with him, she refuses and says that today is her dog's birthday, so she is not coming. Hearing this, Jinwook is very surprised and asks his assistant whether his dog is more important to her than him. Then the scene shifts and we see Yumi with her brother, where everyone is celebrating Yumi's brother's birthday. Just then Jinwook comes there, and seeing him there, Yumi gets very surprised. Seeing the dog food in his hands, her mother asks him for whom he has brought this. Jinwook asks whose child is this. Then Yumi's mother starts telling Jinwook that this is my son, but just then Yumi stops her and asks her to leave from there. Then we see Jinwook and Jong sit face to face, and it seems as if they have come to a world war and not a birthday party. Yumi tries to cheer them up, but both of them are ready to fight with each other, and then after this both of them drink a lot. After that we see the next morning scene where Jinwook is sleeping at Yumi's home. Just then Yumi's brother comes and teases him a lot. After Jinwook wakes up, Yumi's mom comes to him and says, "I have to go out for some important work, so you take care of this child for today." Jinwook is surprised and says, "Are you asking me?" So Yumi's mom says that if he wants to impress her daughter, then he has to take good care of him. After that, when mom leaves from there, Jinwook takes Yumi's brother to the playground, and seeing the handsome daddy, all the ladies there start looking at him. After that, Jinwook enjoys a lot there with all the children. Just then Jinwook's father passes by, and he is very surprised to see Jinwook with a child. After that, when Jinwook is going from there with Yumi's brother, then everyone seeing him says that his son will also be very handsome like his father. Jinwook starts telling people that he is not my son, but then he doesn't say so, and after saying goodbye to all of them, he leaves from there and brings Yumi's brother home and takes care of him very well. After that, Yumi comes to Jinwook and Jinwook asks her that whose son is he. Then she lies to him and says that her mom is very fond of him. She takes care of him, and now all three of us live together. The scene shifts and we see Jinwook with his father. He shows him his and Yumi's photo taken 3 years ago and asks if the child is his. But Jinwook is very surprised and asks if the child is Yumi's. After thinking a lot, Jinwook is convinced that the child is not someone else's but Yumi's. After that, Jinwook messages Yumi and asks her to meet him. When Yumi goes to meet him, then Hairi also sees them and starts following them. Here Jong also sees Hairi and he also starts following. Jinwook says to Yumi that whatever happened to her in the last 3 years, he wants to know everything. Basically, Jinwook wants to know whether that child is his son or not. After a lot of conversations, Jinwook is convinced that he is their son. Hairi also hears all their talks, and she also comes to know about their one-night stand, and she starts to go to them. Just then Jong comes and stops her. He tells Hairi that he is ready to come on her show, but in return you have to promise him that you will not come in between their relationship, and neither will you try to separate them from each other. Then the scene shifts and we see Yumi as she is cooking food for Jinwook. When she gets a message from Jinwook and he tells her that he wants to go with her to the gate today and please bring her brother along with her. But she is surprised and thinks that whether he is going on a date with her or her brother. In the next scene, Yumi goes with her brother and Jinwook is enjoying more with her brother. Seeing all this, Yumi is very angry with her brother because he is caring more for her brother instead of her. After this, when Jinwook comes to drop her home, he gives her a small gift. She accepts the gift and says that there was no need for this. On which Jinwook says that it is not for her, but for her brother. After that, we see the scene next day. Yumi is going out. Just then she sees Hairi on the way. Yumi tries to talk to her, but Hairi talks very rudely to her because of her, Jinwook has become distant from her. Yumi hurts a lot after hearing her talk. The next day, Jinwook's father comes to Yumi's house to see his grandson. Jinwook's father is very happy to see his grandson. He tries to take off one of his hairs to do a DNA test. Just then Yumi's mom comes there, and she gets very angry at Jinwook's father, and a fight starts between them over this. Seeing them fighting, Yumi comes there, and Jinwook also comes there looking for his father, and asks him what he is doing here. He asks him to leave from here with him, but Jinwook's father refuses and says that he will go from here only with his grandson. Hearing this, Yumi's mom is very surprised, and Yumi says, "What is all this?" Then Jinwook tells her that he knows that this child is of both of them. Then Yumi's mom stops Jinwook and says, "What are you saying?" "This is not your son, but my son." On hearing this, Jinwook's father and Jinwook are completely surprised. They are not able to understand anything, and Jinwook holds Yumi's hand and brings her outside with him and asks her, "Is he really not our son?" Then Yumi says that no, he is not her son, but her brother. Then she asks him that till now all the time they both have spent together is only because he thought that her brother is their son. But Jinwook tries to make her understand that there is nothing like that, but she does not listen to even one of them and leaves from there. The scene shifts and we see Jinwook with his father, where Jinwook's father is very angry at Jinwook and says, "You left Hairi to date an ordinary girl," and also says, "I am going to do something with Yumi, after which you will never be able to see her again." But Jinwook tells him not to think of doing anything wrong with Yumi because now he is not a small child, and he will not let him do anything with Yumi that he did with his mom. After this, when Jinwook is in his office, another dietitian brings food for him. Jinwook tells himself that Yumi is so angry with him that she doesn't even want to see his face. On the other hand, we see Hairi, who is very angry during a show because she is missing Jinwook a lot, and then she says that Jinwook is the one who broke her heart, and this news is spread all over the world. Then everyone blames Yumi and says that Jinwook left Hairi for a dietitian. After this, we see Yumi, who is very upset because of all this because everyone knows about her and Jinwook's relationship. Just then Jong comes there, and to improve her mood they go to play a game. The scene shifts and we see Hairi, who is interviewing Jong. After the interview is over, she repeatedly looks at Jong. In the next scene, we see Yumi and Jinwook, where Yumi says to Jinwook, "Thank you for whatever you have done for me till now, because I have decided that I will leave this place and go away from here, and it is better for both of us that I leave from here." Hearing this, Jinwook hugs Yumi and repeatedly asks her to stay, saying to her, "I know that everything is very hard for you, but I don't want you to leave me." But she says sorry to him and leaves from there. Because of all this, Yumi and Jinwook cry a lot. On the other hand, we see Yumi with her colleagues, where all her colleagues are very sad because of her leave. Then a girl says, "Why don't we all have a party together today?" And after this, they enjoy a lot in the party tonight. In the next scene, we see Jinwook because he is missing Yumi a lot. Then the assistant tells him that Yumi has left her job and leaves from there, but he should not say anything to him and asks him to leave from there. The scene shifts and we see Yumi. She is working as a dietitian in the university. After getting free from work, Jong comes to take Yumi. After this, both of them talk a lot together, where he tells her, "I like you, and I myself don't know when all this started, but by the time I realized it, it was too late." Hearing this, she hugs Jong and says sorry. Seeing both of them together, Jinwook also gets very jealous and leaves from there without saying anything to Yumi. In the next scene, we see Yumi's mom in a show where she tells everyone that her daughter was dating Jinwook, but now both of them have broken up. On the other hand, we see Hairi, who has brought food for Jinwook and tells him, "I am noticing that you do not take care of your health at all." And here we are shown a flashback scene where we see Hairi, who fell in love with him at first sight. Here, Jinwook refuses, but then on her insistence, he eats the food brought by her. She asks, "The food cooked by me is tasty?" Jinwook says, "No, you still need to improve." After this, the next morning when Yumi is having food with her friends, then her mom's show starts on TV, and then everyone comes to know that her mother is an erotic actress, and Jinwook left Hairi for Yumi. Yumi, after watching this news, gets very upset. Now, everyone in this university has started to bully her because of this. On the other side, Jinwook also sees all this, and his assistant, seeing him upset, says, "You should go to Yumi and take her back," and says, "I am telling all this to you as a friend. Please go and bring Yumi back, because we should do what we want to do in our life from our heart." On hearing this, Jinwook quickly goes out to find Yumi. When he reaches the university, he finds out that Yumi has left the university. On the other hand, Yumi is being pampered by her mother because of the show, because since childhood till today, Yumi has faced a lot of problems because of her mother. On hearing all this, Yumi's mother also gets very hurt. Jinwook is standing outside and listens to their conversation, and when she comes out, Jinwook tries to talk to her, but she ignores him and leaves from there. Jinwook goes there looking for Yumi. On seeing Jinwook, Jong starts fighting with him. Jinwook asks him where Yumi is, but at first Jong refuses to tell him anything, but then on Jinwook's insistence, he tells him that Yumi has gone to the same place where they both met for the first time. On the other side, we see Yumi's mom. She is crying a lot because of all this. The scene shifts and we see Yumi. She's going to the seaside. Then a lady accidentally throws water on her. Just then Jinwook's mom comes there and asks her to come home with her. After this, when both of them are having food together, Yumi remembers that Jinwook always wanted to eat food cooked by his mother. Then we see Jinwook, who is still searching for Yumi, but then Yumi passes by him on a bicycle, but they both are not able to see each other. And then when Yumi is on the sea spot, she finds a coin there. She starts picking it up. Just then Jinwook comes there and angrily says, "Do you even know that since when I am looking for you?" Then they both hug each other. After this, both enjoy the night together there, and she thanking him says, "I am very happy today because I have dated such a handsome and rich CEO in my life. All this is like a dream for me." But Jinwook says, "If this is the case, then promise me that from now onwards you will never leave me." After this, both kiss each other. After that, when they're sleeping together for a while, Yumi opens her eyes and looking at Jinwook, she remembers the time spent together. She kisses him and she walks away crying. We see Jinwook, who is also crying because he has heard everything. He knows that she is leaving him just like before, but he doesn't stop her because he does not want to force her on his head. The next morning, when Jinwook opens his eyes, he says to himself, "Yumi, earlier I did not know anything about you, but still I waited for you for 3 years. But now I know everything about you, so I will wait for you whether that wait is of 3 years or 30 years. So, whenever you are ready to accept this relationship, please come back to me." On the other hand, Yumi reaches her house, and seeing her, Jong asks her, "Where's your boyfriend?" But she just says that they both have broken up. Yumi's mom listens to all their talks, and she also becomes very upset. After that, Jinwook goes to his mother's restaurant to meet her, and both of them become very emotional after seeing each other. After this, Jinwook eats the food made by his mother with great pleasure. On the other hand, we see Yumi, who has a very high fever, and her mother is taking great care of her. On the other hand, we see Jinwook's mother, who is asking her son to bring Yumi back, and then Jinwook hugs his mother and says, "I promise you that I will definitely bring Yumi back." The scene shifts and we see Yumi's mom, who is very well prepared and goes for an interview. While giving the interview, her mom says, "An actress is an actress, and I don't know why you put erotic before my name. Is it true that an actress should not date anyone and should not have a relationship with anyone?" Yumi is also seeing her mother's interview. Her mother says, "We should do in our life what we want to do from our heart." And she says to Yumi, "You have not done anything wrong, so you do not need to be upset for anything." She says, "If you like Jinwook right now, then you should go to him and say in front of everyone that I love you, Yumi." Seeing all this, Yumi becomes very emotional and she messages Jinwook to meet her. When Jinwook receives her message, he becomes very happy. Just then his father calls him and Jinwook says to him, "Dad, if I leave your business, once then I can start another one too, but I cannot leave her because once she leaves my life, I will never get her back." Hearing all this, his father is very shocked. After this, we see Jinwook and Yumi. They're going to meet each other, and finally, they both see each other. Yumi quickly goes and hugs Jinwook, and then both kiss each other in front of everyone. On the other hand, we see Hairi, who is very upset because of all this. She messages Jong and asks him to have a drink with her. Jong is also very happy to see Hairi's message. Then we see that Yumi's brother's father also comes there, and he accepts his son. After this, when Hairi and Jong are sitting together, Hairi asks him to date her, but when Jong says no to anything further, then Hairi says that it is not necessary. If you do not want to date, then it is okay. But Jong asks her to go with him to South America and says, "Today is the first day of our date." Hairi is very happy to hear this from him. After this, we see a wedding scene, but this wedding is not of Jinwook and Yumi, but of Yumi's mom and her husband, because Yumi's mom is getting married once again to her husband. Then some old memories of Yumi's mother and her husband are displayed on the screen. Yumi tells herself that she is sure that her mom will not show her erotic pictures in front of her small child. But Yumi's mom goes to display her erotic pictures. Seeing these pictures, everyone is very stunned. At the same time, Jinwook closes Yumi's brother's eyes and says, "You should not see all this." After the wedding is over, when everyone is getting a photo shoot done together, we see Yumi and Jinwook on the side where they're spending time with each other. Jinwook tells Yumi that from today onwards they will both stay together, and he will eat the same food that she will make for him. And this is where our drama has a happy ending. How would you like this drama, and which was your favorite character? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for watching more dramas like this.